Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good morning, amateur sports fans. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Coffee with Graeme's MFHL season coverage here on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Today's episode is going to be a good one. It's a pretty long interview that I had with two players from the Eastman Selects here in the MFHL, and it's with number 33 senior goaltender Geneva Penner and number 9 senior forward Alexandrea Bednar, and both these players have made their commitments to play at the university level. For Alexandria, she committed to post-university to play Eagles hockey in the fall, and for Geneva, she committed to the Assiniboine Community College Cougars team to play for that squad in the fall of this year. And both of these players have had a chance to play for the Eastman Selects at the U15 level and of course in the MFHL. And Geneva actually didn't join the Selects until the last season, which was last year in 2019-2020, and she spent her first season in the MFHL playing for the Central Plains Capitals. But I had a chance to ask these two players about committing to their respective universities, what it was like winning a championship with the Eastman Selects U15 AAA team back in 2016-17, and what the years have been like in the MFHL as well. And we also got into some other stuff today on this edition of Coffee with Graeme's MFHL season coverage, sponsored by Pure Nata, Fabricland Winkler, and Evolve Green here on ASTV Productions. Joining me now on this edition of MFHL season coverage is two seniors on the Eastman Selects in the league. It's number 33 senior goaltender Geneva Penner and number 9 senior forward Alexandrea Bednar. And both of these players recently committed to their respective universities. Geneva committed to Assiniboine Community College, and Alex committed to post-university to continue their playing careers at the next level. And we're doing this interview pre-recorded, so Geneva and Alex, thank you so much for joining me tonight. How are you girls doing?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, doing good.
Right on. And it's going to be a lot of fun to just talk about your guys' university commitments, talk about your time playing in the Eastman Selects programs and U15 and U18 and some other stuff too. But starting off with the university commitment, starting off with, I guess, the both of you guys, just how does it feel to know that you finally know where you're going to be playing that next level of hockey at?
It feels good for sure. It's been like a kind of like a stress for the past couple of years, just figuring out where I'm gonna go and where I'm gonna play and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. It's Brandon has always been a top choice for me, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's definitely a relief to have a plan for the future and to again know what's going on. It's great to have a plan.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so nice because like it's a life-changing thing. You guys are going to be playing at these universities for the foreseeable future. And it's going to be awesome to see you guys in action. And hopefully you guys actually get to play a full season come the fall of 2021. Just how has it been on you guys being seniors, knowing this was your last chance to really get something done and winning a championship this season, potentially knowing that the season is officially canceled, just knowing that you have a chance to start fresh next year?
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer hearing that the season was canceled, but I'm just thankful for all the years I did get and that we at least had a bit of time this year with the girls. We had a good group of girls this year, so I was excited, but I'm just hoping that next year we can start it off again and have a full season, or at least some of a season.
Yeah, it's definitely a disappointment, but then again, everyone else is going through the same thing. So I don't really want to give us grace for what we have to go through. Everyone else is doing the exact same thing. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's been tough on I know all the athletes this year, but you guys have really shown a lot of, I guess, mental toughness and just powering through it, knowing that it sucks not being able to play, but it's just the cards that you guys have been dealt this season, unfortunately. But just going into Alexandria, you committed to Post University for the fall of 2021. It's located in Waterbury, Connecticut. You're going to play out of the New England Women's Hockey Alliance. Just for you, why did you decide to take your next step in your hockey life and choosing Post University as that next place to play?
Well, actually, a couple of years ago, I met the head coach at a identification camp, and he introduced me to the program. Was super nice about it, so it kind of caught my eye right away. And then we were continuing playing junior year, and then this year, I reached out again just to start communicating, and he was totally down to talk with me and pursue me, and then that went through. And I've always liked the idea of that school. It's a smaller school with smaller classes, and I think that's very beneficial, especially for people out here, kind of smaller communities. So it's I think it'll be a good fit. And I've always liked the East Coast. I think it's a very, very nice place to be. So I'm really excited to get going.
Yeah, and Heath Isaacson, the head coach, he's had a successful coaching career. I mean, he's been able to lead the Jackrabbits to 3 national championship appearances when he was coaching at South Dakota State University prior to joining the Eagles. He's had a chance to coach at several USA hockey camps, including 2 U18 national development camps, the Northern Plains District Camp and the Pacific District Development Camp. And he's also played hockey at South Dakota State University. So he's been around, he knows the game. Just from the talks you've had with him, just how have those talks been going throughout the long process that you've had a chance to speak with him?
He's been teaching me a lot, not just about hockey and the game, but as being a person. It's just as equally important to be a good person as be a good hockey player. So I think I'm learning a lot. He's a good speaker, And I'm sure, like you said, he's a pretty good hockey player. So I'm excited to start learning and get going and learning as much as I can from him with the time that I have.
Going over to you, Geneva, you choose ACC as that next place you want to play. It's a team that won a national championship back in the 2018-19 season. Just for you, you're going to be joining some familiar faces as well, some former Central Plains Capitals teammates. For you, just why choose ACC as that next place you want to play? It's close to home. I mean, they're successful, but why exactly ACC?
I got in touch with Coach Tony last year at one of the showcases, and we just talked. And the way he talked about the program, and I've had people, former or past teammates that have played there, and just everything seems like a really good environment, and the league itself excites me. And being close to home, I like that my family will be able to come watch me. And yeah, it has good school programs. I'm excited to go into business, and it just all kind of worked out in a good way.
So you're planning to go into business? That what exactly just interests you about the business aspect of just the program that ACC offers?
Well, I've taken business courses throughout high school, and it's always been an interest to me. So when I was looking through the classes and what I wanted to take, I that one for sure was an easy pick for me. It's always just interested me, and I think it'll be a good couple of years. I'm excited.
And how does that feel, just Coach Tony Bertone reaching out to you? Just knowing that he's had so much experience in coaching, he's had a chance to coach this team to a national championship. Just what have your talks been like with Coach Tony Bertone?
For sure. My talks with Coach Tony have been very good. We've kept in touch throughout this past while, with the season being canceled and all, and he just always talks very highly of his team and his coaching staff, and I can just tell that he's going to be a really good coach, and I'm really excited to be a part of the team next year.
And you have a chance to play your university hockey close to home. Just how important was that in your decision to pick in that next place you want to play?
That was a big factor for me. I wanted to move away, but I didn't want to move far enough that it wasn't like a driving distance, so my parents and family can come watch. And I don't know, just especially with everything going on right now, not knowing where you can go and where you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be awesome. You getting to play close to home, going to get the family to come out to games. It's going to be more convenient for them, and it's going to be a lot of fun for you, I'm sure. And for you, Alex, I mean, you're going to be moving a bit farther away from home to Waterbury, Connecticut. Just how excited are you to get some more independence and moving, really far away from home compared to if you stay closer to home?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Also, obviously, I'm pretty nervous as well, but I think that comes with it, and I think a bit of nerves is okay. Not too many people get the chance to move that far away to play any sport, really, or just in general. So I'm really excited to have the opportunity to do so and focus on academics as well. I'm just really excited.
And what are you planning to take as your academics when you get to post university?
I'll be majoring in biology.
That's awesome, man. What's interested you about the biology route? I mean, why do you plan to take biology as your major?
Well, I've always been pretty interested in like the outdoors. I kind of live in a pretty small community, so being outside has always been a huge part of my life. Plants and wildlife and everything like that I've always really enjoyed. So I think it'll be pretty interesting to continue my knowledge about.
Well, that's going to be awesome. Doing something you love off the ice, getting to play hockey, obviously on the ice. It's going to be a great experience for you for sure. And, for you, Alex, just have you, I know that I've talked to a lot of players that have committed to that next level of play university, and a lot of them have said that the players on the team have been able to reach out. I guess for both of you guys, have you guys had a chance to talk to any of the players on the team? Have they reached out to you?
Yeah, I've had a couple of girls actually reach out that I either played with or just know through playing against, and um, girls that are already graduated and that are going like committing for next season, and they just are all super excited and speak really highly, which makes me even more excited.
Yeah, I've had people reach out, which is obviously really nice. It's pretty reassuring to know that they actually care and they want to make sure that you're comfortable and ready for this kind of big adjustment. So it's really nice to see.
Yeah, and you guys are taking a huge step. You guys are moving away from home to pursue this. It's something that I feel like you guys have never really experienced before. Just you talked about how it's reassuring, Alex, and I'm assuming for you, Geneva, it's reassuring too. But how much easier do you feel it's gonna be when you take that next step getting there, knowing that you've had these good conversations already with not only the head coach, but also just some of the players that play in the programs you guys are going to?
Yeah, it's for sure reassuring. Even girls asking like if arranging if we want to live together, like apartment wise and stuff. Just like knowing you have people out there, because yeah, it's not that far, but it's still a new city, meeting all these new girls, and it's really reassuring knowing that I know people out there.
Yeah, I think having these future teammates reaching out is really nice. So when it comes to in a couple months when I move there, it won't be like I'm talking to a whole bunch of strangers. It'll be a little bit more secure than that. So I think that's really important. And I'm grateful that they're doing so.
Yeah, for sure. And you spoke earlier, Alex, of why you said the East Coast is a beautiful place. Just how excited are you to when you're not playing hockey, getting to explore just the city of Waterbury when you get there?
Yeah, I'm beyond excited. I've always loved. It might sound a little bit cheesy, but I've always loved exploring new places. It's always been really interesting to me. So I'm really excited to explore as many places as I can. So I'm excited.
Well, it's definitely in you. I mean, you've taken biology because you love exploring, and I feel like you're gonna have a chance to see some pretty cool stuff out there in Waterbury, Connecticut when you make that jump for the fall, for sure, for sure. And just for you guys, you've had a chance to spend 3 years in the MFHL. Now you've had a chance to experience the highest level of, I guess, hockey for female in the province. Just how do you feel like your experiences over these past 3 seasons in the MFHL? I know for you, Geneva, you've played in Central Plains and Eastman, and for you, Alex, you've spent all 3 years with Eastman. But how do you guys feel like your experiences in this league playing against this competition is going to benefit you at that next level?
Um, I think that these past 2 years have been awesome. I think that especially for me, being able to have played with the Capitals and um, experiencing like a new group of girls, because when I came from Bantam, obviously I knew all the girls already. So I think that playing Caps gave me that for going to play with the Cougars next year. I'll know kind of how to get in with the new group of girls that already know each other. So I'm excited, and I think that'll be good.
Yeah, I think it'll help a lot. I think every single year has been a little bit different. These 3 years of Eastman, um, obviously adapting to different roles on the team, whether it's a leadership role or any other kind of role. So I think it really helped all of us, not just us, but everybody on the team. And yeah, I hope it goes well. So yeah.
And you guys have had a chance to play under Bill Bram and his daughter Bailey Bram, and these are two two individuals who know the ins and outs of hockey very well, and I feel like they helped you a lot during the commitment process. Just can you speak about how Bill and Bailey helped you throughout your commitment process and making that decision to commit to your universities you're going to play at?
For sure. Bailey has obviously, with everything she's gone through, has spoken about, her Team Canada stuff and university. So she kind of gave us an in on how to go through about stuff. And Bill has always said, like, he's there to talk to coaches and talk to us if we need any pointers or anything. So that was definitely a good thing.
Yeah, Bailey is a huge role model for all of us. She's done great things in hockey, so I think we could always turn to her if we needed help. And Bill is a great person to rely on too. He'll always One thing about Bill is he'll always speak the truth, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing, but mostly it's a good thing. So.
Yeah, and I had a chance to speak to Bill Graeme on one of the episodes of MFHL season coverage, and he's a character. That guy is awesome. Loved having Bill on the show. But let's get back into hockey and talking about you, Alex. Just it's been said in the MFHL's announcement post for you committing to Post University that you're known for being a hardworking player who competes in all three zones, plays a solid 200-foot game. So how have you felt that your game has really developed here in the last 3 seasons playing with the Eastman Selects and those aspects of your game?
Yeah, of course. I think first year, I focused more on a offensive mindset, and then throughout the past, even the first year, but all 3 years, I really focused on my defensive game. And I think I really bring a strong defensive aspect to our team, whether that's getting into lanes, blocking shots, making a nice defensive zone breakout pass. I think I've always been pretty good at that, and I kind of pride myself on that. And especially in the offensive zone, neutral zone, passing, getting the puck up, just trying to be one of the hardest working players on the ice is really important, I think, for all players. So I try and put that mindset into myself.
Yeah, and I had a chance to look at Post University stats this season. They were getting outshot, I think, 30-40 on average this season. And for you being such a complete 200-foot player, I mean, you're going to be a freshman. It's going to take some adjusting for you next year to get used to the level of play at the university level. But how do you feel that your style of game is really going to help benefit this post university team, this Eagles team, come next year when you're playing for them?
Yeah, I'm hoping I can help level the playing field a little bit there. I think it'll be a little bit difficult for all of us since there'll probably be about 2 freshman classes because this year's freshman class didn't really get to play. So I think it'll be a pretty young, inexperienced team. But I think I could probably bring a lot, working hard in the defensive zone, getting the puck up, and hopefully making some nice plays in the offensive zone. So I'm looking forward to it.
Moving to you, Geneva, it's been said about you that you're known for your strong positional play. Just same type of question as I asked Alex. Just how do you feel like your positional play? I guess your overall game has really developed throughout your 3 years of playing in the MFHL.
For sure. Yeah, well, once you get to a certain point, you have to look past like the basics and try and find ways to stand out opposed to the other people. So I've really been working on that and getting to where I need to be before the puck is, and another thing I've really been working on is engaging with my defensemen. I like to be loud on the ice and just make sure I'm there and telling everyone what's happening and just staying as engaged as I can.
And you're going to have a chance to reunite with some former Capitals players that you played with, and Megan Biswitherick, Laney Muir. There might be some more, but just getting to reunite with teammates like that. I mean, I'm assuming for you, you feel like that's going to make the transition even more easier than it will be.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I'm excited for all of that, but especially Megan. I think going into a team with a goaltender that and you have your own little thing, goalies, and so I'm really excited to start the season with her and see how that goes.
Excited for building that competition again, like you guys did back in the 2018-19 season.
For sure, yeah. We push each other, and she's a really good, we kind of clicked, and I think that, or at least I think so, and it was a really good season, and for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like you'd probably say the same thing. It seems like you guys would get along pretty good for sure. And for you guys, just obviously you guys haven't been able to play any games like anybody in the league has since October. But just what have you guys been working on during this, I guess, this off season to really improve your games?
For myself, a goal before any of this, I think starting midget, I really wanted to improve my off ice, like my speed was a big thing for me because I had everything else down pretty good, and speed was something I really wanted to improve on, and so that starts off ice, obviously. So I've been working really hard on that, and hopefully it will pay off.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me. Off ice speed and just lower body strength in general was something I was really working towards. Still am working towards.
So do you think like the things that you guys are still working towards are going to be the biggest things that you guys need to improve to get to that next step at that university level?
Yeah, I think so. I think working on the little things at this point, and just the new group of girls, I don't know, I feel like for myself, it depends on the team. Like I'm used to the girls I play with now, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to click with my new defensemen especially, and just figure how things go there. But yeah, off ice for sure, and then just kind of clicking with my D, I think will be the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Just I think you could always improve. So I think that's what I'm really going to work towards, is just being a better all-around player to help improve the team.
Well, it's going to be so exciting to see you guys take that next step come the fall of 2021. And I know I kept saying next year, but I guess this upcoming season is what I meant. And I hope you guys, I wish you guys all the best when you eventually make that jump, for you, Geneva, to ACC, and for you, Alex, to post-university. So I'll be right back with you two after this first commercial break of this edition of Coffee with Graeme. Well, the first commercial break in this interview segment of the show. I've been joined by senior goaltender Geneva Penner of the Eastman Selects, along with her teammate Alexandrea Bednar, in this edition of Coffee with Graeme's MFHL season coverage. I'll be right back with these two, but first, a word from one of our sponsors. Back here on MFHL season coverage with number 33, Geneva Penner, and number 9, Alexandrea Bednar of the Eastman Selects. And we were talking about the university stuff, the university commitments that these two made. Of course, Geneva committing to ACC, which is Assiniboine Community College, for the fall of 2021, as well as Alex committing to post-university for the fall of 2021. And an exciting time for these girls as they take that next step come the fall of this year coming up. But now we're going to move into their time playing for the U15 Eastman Selects. But before that, we're going to talk about some other stuff, like starting with you, Geneva, your time playing for Team Manitoba and the 2018 U16 tournament you played in. What exactly tournament did you play in?
We went to Swift Current, and yeah, it was my first experience like that, like playing at a high level besides playing for the Selects, and it was probably my best hockey memory so far. Just all the girls, like the playing with the best girls there was, and even the coaching staff and just the atmosphere was super cool and something I'll never forget.
That's awesome, man. Getting to travel to Swift Current with a bunch of girls that you played with, a bunch of girls that were so skilled. I mean, the best of the best at the time at the U16 level. Did you have a chance to play with any of your teammates from Eastman in that tournament?
Yes, Maddie, I played with her, and I think I'm not sure if anyone else was there. I think it was just me and Maddie from Eastman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew a lot of the girls through previous years playing spring hockey and stuff, but I still met a couple of girls and friendships that I still talk to the girls, and it's just yeah, it was a good experience all in all.
That's awesome, man. How cool is that to just reunite with a bunch of these girls? Like you said, you had past experiences playing with them and like spring hockey. How cool was it to reunite with them and play in a tournament like this where you're representing your province?
So cool. Even throughout, I'm meeting some of these girls at previous tryouts, and just like even the bus ride and everything, like it just grew friendships that are still lasting. And the tournament itself, knowing that there's these scouts and people watching, and just that you're representing your province was super cool. Yeah, and the coach John, he coached me the next season, so I got to kind of experience being coached by him and the following season. So it all worked out perfectly, and it was a really cool experience.
That's amazing. And how was it like traveling to a place like Swift Current?
It was cool. We went just the bus ride itself, I think it was 7 hours or something.
Yeah.
Flew by, honestly. Just yeah, flew by in a flash. The weekend went by so fast. Just everything, the way it was set up, and the things we did, even off the ice, just like the team bonding activities and everything, just made it a super cool weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I think it's like with any road trip too. The trip there is a lot faster than the trip back. Did you notice that?
For sure, yeah. As soon as the last game was done, I was just sad because it was the best time I had in so long. And on the way home, it was sad because you don't know if you're gonna play with these girls again, and
Yeah.
you wanted it to last longer than it did, for sure.
And how did you guys end up placing in that tournament?
Pardon me.
How did you guys end up finishing in that tournament?
So we practiced. The first thing we did was we did a practice, and then we did some games with against other teams that actually ended up being in our league. And then the last game of it all was against Saskatchewan, and I actually didn't play in that game. We sat down with the coaches and talked about it, and I was totally okay with not playing. I was there for the team and not for myself. So even though I didn't get to play in the big game, I was just super pumped to be there and be a part of the team and do what I could.
So was it the finals that you guys made it to?
It wasn't really the finals. It was pre-planned, I believe, that we were gonna play Saskatchewan.
Oh, I
Just
see.
because there wasn't in the yeah, it wasn't there was only the two provinces there, and then the other teams were just like different teams from our league. So
Makes sense. Makes sense for sure. And for you,
mhm.
just getting to go through this experience, obviously you had a lot of fun playing with teammates, getting to experience wearing the Team Manitoba jersey. But how did you feel like you grew as a not only as a player but as an individual in that whole process of representing Team Manitoba.
Yeah, for sure. After being able to play and just I don't know, it was it was a great experience and I learned a lot and just a thing that Coach John said to me, he said that he liked how I focused and I was ready and there to play and focused on the game and that just kind of stuck with me and then I took that to heart and before every game I think about that and I just think about how um, if he noticed that then obviously I'm doing something right and it just makes me
Yeah.
happy to see that people notice stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's awesome that going through an experience like that, like you said, is probably your favorite hockey memory ever, and just knowing that something like that, a
Mm-hmm.
message from your coach stuck with you is great to see. Great to see. So moving into you, Alex, talking about just baseball, you've had a chance to play baseball for the U14 Team Manitoba team in 2017 and the team U16 team in 2018. Just what exactly were the tournaments you played in with Team Manitoba? Did you play other provinces or what exactly what tournaments did you exactly play in with those Team Manitoba teams?
Of course. So the U14 team, we kind of played all over Manitoba, but the end goal was to play in Westerns. So that's the four Western provinces. They kind of have like a showdown. So we went to Kamloops, British Columbia for that for about 5 days or so.
Yeah.
And then the following year, when I was playing U16, again, different tournaments around Manitoba, but the end goal was nationals in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So that was what we were working towards.
Right on. And did you guys ended up making it to both of those places, to like the Westerns and the Nationals?
Yep, we went to both of those, and yeah, it's a good time.
Right on. And getting to go to Kamloops, and what was the I'm already forgetting. My memory is sometimes shaky. Where's the place you guys went in U16?
Pardon me, what was that?
What was the place you guys went in U16? Because I know you said you went to Kamloops and U14, but what place did you guys go to in U16 again?
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Right on. So you guys go to Kamloops in U14, Halifax, Nova Scotia, in your U16 year, which was probably an amazing experience. What was it like getting to travel to those different places and just get to, I guess, you know, feel the experience of everything you guys felt going to those places?
Yeah, it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, probably. I don't like putting labels on events, but both of those are probably pretty close to one of the best experiences of my life. I think you learn so much, how different everybody is, um, even how small Manitoba is as a whole. When you travel to other places in Canada, it's really eye opening to see how people are different and how like landscapes are different. Even like seeing mountains and then seeing oceans, it's very eye opening. So it's a very interesting feeling to have.
Yeah, and Manitoba's got some amazing lakes, but we don't got any mountains or oceans, that's for sure. And it's awesome that you got to experience seeing that. Just in the U14 year and the U16 year, how did you guys fare in terms of your placement in the Westerns and U14, as well as the placement you guys placed in U16 in the Nationals?
Yeah, so the U14 year, I think we did pretty well. I kind of can't really remember. It was quite a while ago, but I think we were around middle of the pack there. Won a couple games, lost a couple games, so that was pretty good. And then the U16 year, there was quite a bit more teams, especially because some of the provinces are split in half because of their higher population. So there was quite a bit more teams. I'm pretty sure we were like high middle in that tournament, which was obviously pretty good for us being such a small populated province compared to other ones.
Yeah, and just for you and your teammates getting to experience, getting to play against the best players for those age levels in the different provinces you guys played. Just what was it like getting to play all the different provinces that you guys played against?
It's really, really cool. 14 year, but I'll speak on my U16 year. Seeing different people from different provinces, it's really, really eye opening, and to play against them in a competitive form is really cool. Again, having like respect for those teams and players, but still having some good competition between them is really, really enjoyable. And it's a really good experience. I think everyone involved benefited from it. So yeah, it was just a really good experience.
And for you as a ball player, just getting to play for Team Manitoba, just what would you say were the life lessons you took away from those two experiences you had, not only in U14 playing Westerns, but the U16 team you played on in 2018, just experiencing just the life lessons you learned in nationals?
Yeah, I think I think I definitely learned not to take anything for granted. How fast that time flies by. It feels like it was 10 years ago the last time I played baseball. So it's really interesting to look back and kind of remember certain moments and memories that remind you of those things. But it was definitely one of the best experiences of my life, and I'll always remember those moments. So.
Yeah, and with you saying that it feels like a lifetime ago since you played baseball. I'm assuming that you don't play that sport anymore. You've just solely focused on hockey.
I mean, yeah, I guess um, hockey's I guess been the main priority for the past couple of years. Maybe in a couple of years I'll play some slow pitch. Maybe I'll get back into baseball.
Yeah.
You never know, but right now the priority is hockey. But I guess we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to play in a slow pitch league or some beer league or any type of league that you play in. But just one more question before we go into break for you, Alex. Just the experiences you've had in baseball, just being a two-sport athlete for a while there, in terms of playing baseball and hockey. Just what are the skills you take away from baseball that you feel have translated into your game as a hockey player?
Yeah, I think coordination is a big one. I think I'm pretty coordinated. So I think hitting baseballs is a great way to do that. Throwing baseballs, again, great way to do that. I think the sports, even though they're not really similar on paper, they are similar with the movements you make and the transitions you make.
Yeah.
So I think it really made me a better hockey player and a better person.
Yeah, and it's always nice when you're able to take skills from one sport and translate them into another sport. It's always nice to see, when players play two sports, they build their complete game as an athlete all around. But I'll be right back with you guys after this break. I'm Graeme Forsyth, of course, host of Coffee with Graeme's MFHL season coverage. I'll be right back with number 33, senior goaltender Geneva Penner, and number 9, senior forward Alexandrea Bednar, both on the Eastman Selects in this edition of MFHL season coverage. When we come back, we're going to talk about their U15 years with Eastman, and then later on in the show, we're going to slowly transition into talking about their U18 careers and their times with the Eastman Selects. So stick with me, Graeme Forsyth. I'll be right back with Geneva Penner and Alexandrea Bednar, both senior players for the Eastman Selects in the MFHL here on MFHL season coverage on ASTV. back here on MFHL season coverage with number 33, Geneva Penner, and number 9, Alexandrea Bednar of the U18 Eastman Selects. And these two senior players joining me on this edition of MFHL season coverage. Of course, we've been talking about their university commitments and just talking about Geneva's time playing for Team Manitoba at the 2018 U16 tournament. And I was talking to Alex about, of course, the university commitment and just talking about her time playing for Team Manitoba at the U14 and U16 levels, both in 2017 and 2018. And yeah, it was great talking to them about those experiences. But now we're going to talk about the experiences that they both had winning a championship at the U15 level with the Eastman Selects. And this happened back in 2016-17. I know I had Maddie on the show. I believe it was like in 2020 before the new year. And she was talking about how that was just an unbelievable team. You guys were an experienced team that year. And yeah, just an unreal experience for just not only your team, but the both of you guys, of course. So just take me back to what you guys remember about just that championship run, that championship season that you guys had that year.
Yeah, that was definitely a good way to go into Eastman. It set high standards for my experiences, at least with Eastman and in the league. Coach was Chris McComb was a really, really good coach. And obviously we had some talent, but I think that the girls just all clicked and got along and worked together on and off the ice, which made a huge difference and helped us get where we got.
Yeah, I think it came to a point where we wanted to win no matter what, and that really gave us the momentum that we needed, and it really paid off for us. So.
And just speaking about you, Alex, just do you remember what your role was on that team? Were you that player that was relied on to put the puck in the net, or were you more of that, like you are now, that 200-foot player that was relied upon to play in all these different roles on the ice?
No, I think I was definitely more of a defensive player on that team. I was one of those players that if coaches needed me to do something, I'd probably do it. So no matter what the situation was, I could probably get it done, whether that's win a face-off or hold a guy down or whatever it was, I would probably do it.
And for you being a rookie in that season, of course, for both of you guys in your first year playing at that U15 level, just how huge was that year for your development as a defensive forward, Alex?
Yeah, it was a huge part. I think it really set a high expectation, I think, for all of us throughout our next couple of years at Eastman. I think it gave us the motivation that we needed, that, hey, we won this one year, we could definitely keep winning. And I think it really, really made me into a better player, helped me realize my strengths, my weaknesses, and what I could do to help that team win and become better as a whole.
And for you, Geneva, being a rookie in that season as well, were you in terms of the goalies on that team, were you playing with a senior goaltender, or what was the goaltending situation like in that season?
Actually, I played with Megan Ralph that year. She plays at the U of M now, but that was actually her first season playing hockey. So we were both kind of rookies to the team.
Yeah.
But we both developed a lot throughout that season, and especially for myself, I know a lot of the girls before playing their first year with Eastman played boys hockey, so it was a huge transition and just a different setting really, and being a part of a team of girls is just so different because you can get closer and just I think that helps on the ice as well.
Yeah, for sure. And just to come in like that, being a rookie on that team, just how did the two of you guys feel like the transition was coming into just a league of AAA at that U15 level?
For me, it was definitely a big difference. Just just the game was different in all. It took a bit to get into, but I think that I improved. That was one of my biggest improvements, and working with Terry Patrick was a huge part of that. He coached me throughout Bantam, and that really helped. He knows what he's talking about, and he really helped me become the goalie I am today.
Yeah, it was a pretty big adjustment, but I think for me personally, I think I perform better under higher paced games. So I
Yeah.
personally really enjoyed the change of pace. I think it was a little bit difficult to get used to, but once you got into it, it was a really good time.
Once you guys got into just playoffs and provincials, just what was it like for you guys experiencing that? Just I guess you guys only played provincials, right? That was the thing back then. Yeah. So you guys only played in provincials, but what was that like when the stakes were at the absolute highest, game in and game out, getting those experiences throughout the whole year of playing in high paced games? Just what was that experience like of going through a provincial run where every game mattered? It was like you guys lose and you're done.
So cool. Just the whole atmosphere, like everyone's so excited, so ready to play, and just every second you got to be ready. And it starts honestly from day one, even before you even step on the ice. It was just it was good momentum and good. It was just good.
Yeah, I think everyone in that level really looks forward to that moment. That's what you're really practicing for and playing for. And I think once our team got there, especially that year, I think we all knew that we had a really good chance. And if we played to our greatest ability, we would win. And that's what happened. So.
And what was that like, getting to just raise that, I guess, hold that banner and knowing that you guys accomplished the goal of being provincial champions?
It was cool. Yeah, it was the first big thing I've won provincials. I won a couple playing minor hockey, but just knowing that I was at that next level and able to be on a team that could achieve something like that felt really cool.
Yeah, it's a really revealing feeling to know that you're a part of a team that is essentially the best team in Manitoba for that level. If you take championships and not players just in general, but the best team it's a really interesting feeling and achievement.
Yeah, for sure. And just an unreal feeling that I'm sure you guys will never forget. And you guys had a chance to play again with that same program in the next season, even though you guys didn't win the provincials back to back. You guys ended up winning the bronze medal, I believe. Yeah, and just for you guys coming in, you guys were a year older. You guys lost the bets from the year before. Just what was that like, taking on more of a, I guess, more of a leadership role in that season?
Um, it was good. Just knowing that you have the experience and you have the girls now looking up to you, and you're not the ones, you're not the underdogs anymore, and you're responsible for leading the team and showing the rookies what has to be done was good. Obviously, losing that game that would bring us to gold was a bit devastating, but we just all stuck it out and went to the bronze medal game and pushed through, and we got it.
Yeah, that was well said. I think it's really important for especially older players to know their role and to live up to that expectation, even exceed that expectation. And I think we really tried to do that. Maybe we didn't win what we set out to win, but we still, I think, developed a lot as players and as people. Of course, I think it was a really beneficial loss, even though it really hurt at the time. But I think it was needed for us.
Yeah, and I mean the silver lining of any loss is you can only learn from it. And I mean it's okay to lose sometimes, even though it sucked for you guys trying to defend your championship. It's definitely a great life lesson for you guys so early on moving forward. But just speaking about development, you spoke kind of briefly about it, how you felt, Alex, that it was a good year of developing as a leader and just developing as players. Just throughout the 2 years that you guys spent with the U15 AAA Eastman team, just how did you guys feel like your games developed near the end of your time there when it got to the points where it got at for you guys' games?
I think that Bantam, those 2 years was where I really developed mentally. Like I mentioned before, Terry coached, and a big thing that he implied on the team was your mental game and how important it is. And I really took that in and put that on my game. And I think that helped me develop and improve a lot, especially moving in towards my U18 years.
Yeah, I think I developed a lot that year as well. Not, again, obviously on the ice, but I think off the ice, I really matured a lot and was able to organize my thoughts and work with different coaches. I think that's really important to experience different coaching perspectives and to learn from those opinions and perspectives and take that into your game the next year and the following year and just become a person and obviously a better player. So it was really, really beneficial, I think, for everyone on the team.
Well, successful 2 years for you guys with the Eastman Selects U15 program, and it really, I think, set the standard for you guys moving forward as to what you guys want to accomplish in your U18 careers. And we're going to be talking about your guys' U18 careers coming up after this next commercial break in this edition of MFHL season coverage. I've been joined by Geneva Bednar, number 33, senior goaltender for the Eastman Selects, and number 9, Alexandrea Bednar, senior forward for the Eastman Selects, of course, on this edition of MFHL season coverage. I'm Graeme Forsyth. All three of us will be right back with you after this commercial break.
Making the world a better place is always a work in progress, because our idea of success is not an endpoint. It's a new milestone from which we can move forward. As industries rise and new technologies take shape, we're committed to keeping pace, to ensuring our innovations are shared and our journeys celebrated, even as we set our sights on where to go next. This is how we live, how we learn, how we grow. Red River College, what we're doing is working.
Back here on this edition of MFHL season coverage with number 33 of the Eastman Select, senior goaltender Geneva Bednar, and number 9, senior forward of the Eastman Selects, Alexandrea Bednar. And yeah, we've been talking about a lot of stuff, been talking about university commitments that these two players made, been talking about just Geneva's time representing Team Manitoba in the 2018 U16 tournament, talked about Alex's time representing Team Manitoba at the U14 and U16 levels of Team Manitoba baseball in 2017-18. We talked about their championship season back in 2016-17 with the Eastman Selects and just the Eastman Selects U15 AAA team and just their 2 years spending time playing there. Now we're going to get into their time playing in the MFHL, the U18 league. And just starting with you, Geneva, you didn't end up playing for the Eastman Selects in that first season you played in the MFHL. Was there a reason you decided to play for the Central Plains Capitals, or did it just kind of fall into place that was the place you kind of had to play in that first season?
No, I could have played Interlake or Capitals. They were both about the same distance away, but like I mentioned before, I played for Team Manitoba with John, and so I knew him and I knew that he was a good coach, and so I was excited at the opportunity to go play for the Capitals, and yeah, so that's just where I ended up going, and I'm thankful for it. It was a really good season, and I met some really good people and made good memories.
Yeah, and you get to come in with a coach that you're sort of familiar with, playing at that 2018 tournament, the U16 Team Manitoba Team. you had a chance to play with some familiar faces as well coming in. So it wasn't just like you were a stranger to some of these players. Just what was it like getting to play with a new group of teammates for a whole season, a team that you didn't get to spend a full season with, like some of the players you played with and the U15 league with Eastman?
For sure. It was cool seeing how other I guess organizations work. The rink we played out of was super cool. The BDO, they have a really cool setup, and just the environment there was really cool. And yeah, it was a good experience. And playing out of Portage was fun. The drives were always fun. I carpooled with a couple of the girls on my team, so that was some good memories. And just all in all, it was a good season.
Yeah, and for you, like you didn't put up the great wins and losses in terms of just total games. You put up 9 wins, 14 losses in that season, and total games in 24 games played. You had a .8968 percentage, a 3.18 goals against average, but you had a shutout. Just in terms of just playing in exhibition games, tournament games, regular season, playoffs, just what was that experience like for in terms of tournament games, getting to play in these different showcases that you played in that year?
It was a good experience. Some of the times it didn't go as I wanted, and we had some um, pretty big losses there. But like I mentioned before, I really grew my mental game, and so that helped me push myself and helped me learn to stay in the game no matter how it's going.
Yeah, and that's always the biggest thing, right? Especially for a goaltender, not just any player, but a goaltender specifically is just trying to shake off if you let in a goal, just trying to shake it off and just get ready to face the next shot for sure. That's huge as a goaltender. And for you in the regular season, you put up 7 wins, 7 losses, and a .905 save percentage with a 2.68 goals against average, a shutout as well. But I think where it really stood out for you was in the playoffs in those 2 games where you had 1 win, 1 loss, a .956 percentage with a 1.51 goals against average just in those 2 games. Spectacular numbers in the playoffs, even though you guys ended up losing that series. Just for you, coming to play in playoffs after all you were through that year, not getting the success you wanted on the scoreboard, just what was it like for your confidence just getting to get reps in the playoffs and getting to, I mean, have the success that you had in those 2 games for you personally?
Yeah, those were some great games. I think that year we played the Chiefs was who we were against there. And so the road trips are always a negative, it doesn't give you time to get focused on the game. You're with the girls and stuff, but I really pushed through that, and
Mhm.
I had some great games. I think that was the first playoff game the Caps have won in a while, so that was a good thing. And yeah, just the experience. I felt like I needed to prove myself, and I was there for the team. And I think as a whole, we played really good, and it helped me have a good game or a good games.
And just coming out of that season, just I guess throughout your whole season of just developing your game, you talked about the mental aspect, but what did you feel in your game took the biggest jump in that first year playing MFHL hockey?
It's for sure. I think that moving towards that season was a lot of um, communication with your team throughout Bantam. It's not a lot of going out playing the puck, and you have no choice once you hit midget. You have to get in there. And at first, it's a bit like, okay, you don't want to leave your net, but yeah, I think that's one thing I really improved with was my communication and helping move the puck along faster and breaking out and all of that.
And what was it like for you coming in that first season, just playing against older competition?
It was a little scary. The girls are a couple years older and they're stronger and faster, but After a bit, it was good, and I really liked the change, and I think that I adapted to it pretty fast.
Moving into your first season in the MFHL, Alex, you've spent all 3 seasons playing for the Eastman Selects in that league. But for you, just being able to make that jump to the MFHL, being able to continue with this Eastman Selects program, just what was it like finding out that you made that Eastman Selects team?
Yeah, that was always a huge goal of mine to make that U18 team. Ever since I was, I don't know, 12 maybe. I always looked up to those girls, and sometimes I would go watch their practices and see what they were doing. When I was super young, I always admired them. I always wanted to play that level of hockey. So when I found out I made it, I was really excited and really grateful to be given the opportunity that I had.
And you got to continue playing at the next level with some of your Eastman Selects teammates from the U15 team. And you guys it was like split down the middle, I think, with like in terms of like veterans and rookies, if I'm not mistaken. It was like a 50-50 split. What was the atmosphere and just I guess the feeling on the team that season in terms of just you guys clicking together as a group?
Yeah, it was really good. I think it really helped us on the ice. We all got along really, really well. And like you said, there was some players that I've already played 2 years with, so it was really easy to adapt with them. And then the year above me, they played with the year above them, like the juniors and the seniors. They had pre-existing relationships. So I think when you combined all of those, all that chemistry together, it's really beneficial for the team on and off the ice.
What did you feel was the biggest thing you had to get used to making the jump into playing with players that were, 1 year, 2 years older than you in that first season?
I think just making sure you're 100% committed to playing, especially under Bill Bram. He always wants you thinking about hockey, so just making sure that that's what you're focused on. And then once you get past that, I think it usually comes pretty naturally, especially at this age. And yeah, I think it was just really good experience for all of us.
What was that first season like, just getting to play under Bill Bram? I know that we spoke briefly about him way early on in this interview, but what was it like in that first season, just getting to meet Bill Bram and getting to know your head coach?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I knew Bill previously. I knew him for about maybe 4 years before I played on a spring team with him when I was super young. So I knew him, so it wasn't that big an adjustment, but it was really interesting to be coached by him full time, and then the assistant coaches as well. Really nice to have a different coaching environment. And then Bailey Brown, being our off ice trainer, was obviously such a huge honor for all of us. Even though we didn't probably tell her that too often, I'm still amazed that she was coaching us. It was a really, really cool experience for all of us.
Yeah, a player that's played university hockey. She's played Team Canada. I mean, it seems like she's done it all. But for you guys, I know how big of an emphasis Bailey puts on the off ice training, and Geneva, you got to experience that when you got put on this team in the 2019-2020 season, which was last year. Just before playing at the U18 level, would you guys say that you guys took the off-ice training stuff like that as serious as you did until you got to that U18 level?
Did we take it as serious? Sorry?
Did you guys take it more seriously when you got to that U18 level, when you realized that I'm playing against older competition, better players?
Okay, yeah. Off ice was always a big thing throughout both of the teams, like with Chris playing Bantam, and then once we got to my second year or my third year, sorry, with Eastman, with Bill though, Bailey definitely put more of an emphasis on it, and I think that not only did she tell us how important it was, but she showed us how to do it and get better and on or off ice, and really helped us work towards our goals and make goals, which was a big thing.
Yeah, I think it was really, really important for us. I think it was shown early on that you have to put work in to be on the team and to deserve ice time. And if you weren't putting in the work, it showed on the ice. So it was very very important for everyone to put the time in. And then if we were to put the time in, it would show on the ice, and it made us a better team all around. I think it also developed healthy relationships and chemistry within. So I think it was really important for us.
And in that first season you played on with Eastman, you had a chance to play with this group of players for the first 2 years you played there, from 2018-19 to 2019-2020. Alex, you played with players like Kylie Lasuk, Liza Vigier, and Camille Enns. Just players like that obviously setting the bar for, Eastman hockey in those 2 years that you guys played in terms of that team. You also had a chance to play with Reagan Kirk in that first season, who's had I've had a chance to talk to Reagan in one of the recent episodes of MFHL season coverage, and she was phenomenal in her MFHL career, and she also had a chance to, do some pretty great things in her first 2 seasons with Robert Morris University. What was it like just having a goaltender like that in your first season of playing in the MFHL with the Eastman Selects?
Yeah, she was a huge role model, I think, for all of us, even though we might not said it too often. But I think she really helped us become better players. And I think off the ice too, she's a really, really nice person, a great character. So I think we picked up pieces from her personality that make us better people as well. And it's just really interesting to see her develop, and then what she's doing now. It's pretty interesting, and I think it's something that all the players will hopefully remember for a long time.
Yeah, and what she's been able to do with Robert Morris University in these first 2 seasons has been amazing. She won Goaltender of the Year in the MFHL in that 2018-19 season, and a phenomenal career for her, for sure. Also winning a championship with Eastman, and the season before you got there. But you had a chance to, maybe not play on the same line as them, but you had a chance to play with players like Kylie Lasuk and Liza Vigier. For them being forwards, for them, being experienced when you got there in that first season. How big of a role model were those two for not only you, but the rookies coming in that season, you felt?
Yeah, they were huge role models. They all led by example, and it's really interesting to see that. I think it makes you a better player, and just watching them at practice, watching them in games, maybe taking a pass from them, passing it to them. It's pretty interesting, because I think all those players are going to go really far in hockey, and I think it's pretty interesting to be able to say that I played with those players.
Yeah, it's unreal. Just to have a chance to play with a player like Kylie Lasuk and Liza Vigier, and of course, like you guys, both of you guys have played with Madeline DeRosier, which is pretty unreal. But for you in that first season, Alex, you played 53 total games, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points, 14 penalty minutes. Regular season, in terms of that, you had 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points in 27 games, and you had 6 penalty minutes. And then in playoffs, you had 3 games played, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, of course, and 2 penalty minutes. But for you coming into that Eastman team that first season, just you didn't put up the biggest production like you were this season, where you were on pace to having a career year. But for you, playing more of that defensive role, I was assuming, and I'm assuming in that first season, how did those experiences playing on that Eastman U15 team help translate into your first year playing U18 hockey and helping your team with some of the success that they had that season?
Yeah, of course. I think it's adjusting to certain roles. Different coaches will ask you for their certain what they want from you, what they don't want from you, and I think you have to adjust to that. And then once you get used to it, it's a lot easier to play. And then you just respect your coaches and play your best, do your part, and hopefully help the team win. Again, it's not really about you. It's about helping the team win. And I think we had a pretty good year that year, despite not the first year, despite not making it too far in the playoffs. I think it was a pretty it was a really good regular season. I think we should be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, and of course, Eastman, I feel like doesn't have the same type of players to choose from, like a place like, Winnipeg. There are two Winnipeg teams now. A team like Yellowhead and Westman. It's kind of like, what are you gonna get? And it seems like you guys have always been able to be middle of the pack, and kind of especially in that 2019-2020 season, pushing the Westman Wildcats to a game 5, them being the defending champions. I think that you guys had a lot to be proud about in that 2019-2020 season. But just for you after that first season, Alex, just experiencing your first season of playing in the MFHL, just coming off of that playoff series loss that you guys, lost, and just what did you feel was the biggest things that you needed to work on moving into your second year with the team?
Yeah, I think just being a better team player overall, making the right passes at the right time. And then obviously defensive game, I've been working on that over the past couple of years, being a really strong defensive player, helping everybody out on the ice, making the right plays, the smartest plays. And then off ice as well, maybe going on a couple runs a day, just making sure you keep up with your cardio and your speed. That's what Bill really prided us on was conditioning. So I think it was really important for all of us to improve in that.
Well, right on. And it seems like it's been awesome for you guys to have a coach like Bill really emphasizing stuff like that. And of course, a coach like Bailey. But yeah, we're going to get into both your guys' time with the Eastman Selects last season, where you guys reunited for the first time since 2017-18. I've been joined by Geneva Bednar and Alexandrea Bednar. We're going to take another commercial break in this edition of MFHL season coverage on Coffee with Graeme here on ASTV Productions. Stick with us. Back here on MFHL season coverage with number 33, Geneva Bednar, and number 9, Alexandrea Bednar of the Eastman Selects. And both of these players are seniors this season. Of course, Geneva being a goaltender and Alex being a forward. And, we're just going to move in this final part of this episode of this interview, talking about the last two seasons, I guess last year and this season, that these players have had, these two in the MFHL with Eastman. So Geneva, after a season playing with the Central Plains Capitals, you get to reunite with a bunch of your former teammates with the Eastman Selects, or some of your former teammates with the Eastman Selects, and you get to play your 2019-2020 season with this team. Just what was it like getting to reunite with players like Alex and a player like Maddie and any of the other players that you played with before?
It was nice. Obviously the season before, every time we would play the Selects, it was like a big deal for me, and I got a lot of those games. Coaches gave me a lot of those games, which I'm thankful for. But yeah, going back, it was exciting, and I was glad to be back. And I just felt like I needed to show all of my improvements, and that I've worked hard the past year to earn my spot, and so that was good.
Right on. And I guess I should ask you this question. Just, I bet it meant a lot for you in your first season of MFHL hockey, playing with the Central Plains Capitals when you got to play the Eastman Selects. Did you feel like obviously the games were were a lot different when you more of a different feel when you got to go against Eastman in your first season.
Yeah, for sure. Playing against them was weird at first. It was like looking at the opposing team, and it's just weird because you played for them the past 2 years. You wore the jersey, so
Yeah.
but it was good. I playing against all these girls that I've been playing with previously, but I was always nervous going in, but I think that I played good all those games, and Bill would always tell me, good game, and that always meant a lot to hear that from them, and that they could see that I was doing good.
Coming into that 2019-2020 season, you guys obviously knowing what the type of style of play was like in the MFHL, playing against older competition. The year before, you guys have a year under your belt, you're a year older. Just what were the things that you guys focused on the most in terms of your off-season training coming into that 2019-2020 season?
Off-season training, definitely just more like I learned how to train, a lot of legs, and not only training, but a lot of like work, and just not just strengthening and getting my speed, but working on my hand-eye. That really improved my game a lot on the ice. So that was another thing that I really focused on as well.
Yeah, I think that year I definitely focused more on strength and becoming stronger, especially because you're a year older. You want to be a dominant force out there, and I think I really worked on that, both upper body and lower body. And that was something that I was striving towards, and I think for that year I really did a good job with preparing.
Yeah, and for you, just in terms of regular season last year, Alex, you improved your numbers in terms of just you slightly improved your numbers in the regular season. You ended up getting a goal in the playoffs. Just for you, still playing that good 200-foot game, all around two-way game, adding some more offense to your game. Just what do you think went into you just adding more of the offense that you did in that second season to that Eastman team?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of confidence booster when you can help your team out on the offensive front. It's obviously really important to help out defensively, but when you get the opportunity to maybe be on the power play or be on a higher scoring line, it feels really good, and you obviously want to help. But then again, you have to know your role, and if there's other players that maybe should play on those lines, and you drop down and you adapt to that. So obviously it's good to help out offensively, but if that's not what you're meant to do, and there's other players for that, then you just adapt to that. But it was really a really good eye-opening moment, I think, for me and for the rest of the team.
So in terms of just the first season compared to the second season that you played with on Eastman, did you feel like you get more opportunity on in situations like playing on PK and power play in that second season compared to your first?
Yeah, I think especially with Bill, it's you play what you deserve. So if you're blocking shots, if you're getting to lanes, you're going to be on the penalty kill. If you're passing the puck good, if you're getting quality shots on net, you're going to be on the power play. Just all depends with how you're playing, and if you deserve to play there, you're going to play there. It doesn't matter who you are. So it was really nice to see from a coaching perspective.
And did you feel like in that second season, just like you talked about, like blocking shots, getting in the lane, stuff like that, do you feel like those little parts, those little things that you're doing right in that second season really maybe is one of the things that developed most in your game?
Yeah, definitely. I've always enjoyed blocking shots. There's kind of an adrenaline rush with it. It's the same thing with maybe scoring a goal or an assist. It's just on the other side of the ice. So I think it's really important, and obviously a scoring opportunity could possibly come out of that situation. So it's it's not really talked about as much, but I think it is really important being able to sacrifice yourself for maybe a potential goal or an assist. It's really, really important.
Yeah, such a huge part of the game. Blocking shots is huge. It definitely can be a momentum booster as well when you're able to do that. Gets the girls, or if you're playing boys hockey, if you're a man or a boy, just gets the boys fired up. Whatever term you want to use, it's definitely those little things do get noticed too by your coaches, and they definitely take that into account when, you know, choosing who to put on the PK, stuff like that. But for you, Geneva, you come into that 2019-2020 season after having a, you know, impressive 2 games in the playoffs in terms of save percentage and goals against average. You come in a year older to the Selects team, and in total games, you had 26 games played. You had 14 wins, 10 losses. You improved not only your save percentage, but your goals against average. In the regular season, you put up 8 wins, 4 losses, improved your save percentage and goals against average in that as well. Just for you coming in, do you feel like the reason you had that much success in that second season compared to your first was maybe because just the year of maturity and the off season training you had as well coming in?
For sure, yeah. I think that my off season had a lot to do with that. After tryouts the first year, Bill told me, he said, you know, you're a good goaltender, but something you need to work on to play on my team is your off ice. And so I took that to heart. I worked hard at it, and I think that helped me improve, and that helped me succeed the following season.
And, you know, I know there's players who you probably set that goal that you wanted to play on that Eastman team, and not being able to play on that team in your first season was probably tough for you to handle at first. Did you feel like there's a chip on your shoulder, not only in that first year, but just coming into the tryouts that season as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. Being with the girls that I played both years in Bantam with, and then supposed to play first year with there, it was tough, you know, being looked at as a rookie with the girls that I was supposed to be a second year with. But I think that that really didn't play a role with anything. I think it was more in my head, and once I got over the fact, you know, it was a good group of girls, we all worked together, and it was I don't think it affected much.
And, you know, for you to improve your save percentage, your goals against average, you know, for you coming in, it's been talked about how you're known for your strong positional play. How much of a factor do you feel like your positional play played in you putting up those numbers?
I think it definitely had a lot to do with it, you know, and it also has to do with just my game in total. I think improved throughout that year, and the experience and everything, and the training. It all just kind of kicked in and played a part.
Moving into playoffs for you guys, go up against the defending league champions, the Westman Wildcats, and you guys pushed this team to 5 games, ended up losing. But, you know, to have the type of team that you guys did, with probably the best line in the league with DeRosier, Vigier, and Lasuk up front, you know, for you guys to lose that series, definitely heartbreaking, because you guys were so close to knocking off the defending champs and with how good that team was. But just what was that playoff series like, going to battle with a team like the Westman Wildcats?
Honestly, like I said before, the road trips I think have a part to play in it. I guess you're with the girls, you're getting ready, but when it comes down to it, I think that we were all focused, we're all ready, and I think both teams had a really good play and put our best efforts in. It just didn't turn out our way, but it was a good experience, and I think we did all we could. It just wasn't quite it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I think traveling about 4 hours makes it feel like a playoff game when you have to travel back and forth. It really makes it feel really, really important. So I think that really provided motivation and momentum for both teams on both sides to want to win in their rink and then maybe want to win in ours. So it was really a really huge factor, I think, for both teams.
And did you get to play in that deciding Game 5, Geneva?
I don't remember, if I'm being honest. I don't think, no, I didn't, because
You didn't know.
No, I didn't, because I remember all I remember is sitting in the dressing room after the game just devastated. But now that I'm thinking about the game, it's one thing to lose a game like that in the net knowing you gave it your all, and then it's another thing to lose sitting on the bench thinking like you had nothing to do with it. And it's tough, but that's what being a part of the team is. So it's all you can do. And
Yeah, and you definitely felt like, you probably felt like if you were in there, you would have probably felt better. You gave it your all. It would have still been devastating, but for you to not even be able to do anything is, I think, even more devastating. But you're right, that's just the way it goes, and that's the role you had to play. Just what was it like in that situation, not being able to play in that game? You're sitting on the bench in terms of just being there for your teammates and being there for support and being like, you got this, just one shift at a time.
yeah, for sure. It's tough not being able to contribute and say that you gave it your all when you can't. All you can really do is just motivate your teammates and stay in the game and just stay focused and say what you can, But yeah, I think that that also gave me some insight on like how it is to be a part of a team, and losing off the ice is definitely worse than losing on the ice, but they're both bad. So I think that Emma had a phenomenal game, and either way, it's just the way it went. We both gave it our all, and yeah.
After the season, you guys had some time to think about the season, reflect on it, think about the series loss when you guys came so close. Just I feel like you guys were at that point just kind of looking forward into this season, thinking, what can I improve on to get better, and for us to get to that point where we can, be legitimate contenders for this title next season, even though you guys were losing players like Fiji, losing a player like Lasuk, players like that. Just what did you guys feel was the biggest emphasis in your off-season training going into this final season that you guys unfortunately got cut short on?
Just looking at all the little things, improving your game personally as much as you can, and then I think once we got started there, it was kind of, with COVID and everything, we kind of knew it was going to be cut short. But I think that throughout summer, everyone was trained, everyone was ready to go, and even now we've been training with Bailey off ice, prepared to play games, and the whole season we've been ready to go, not knowing what's coming, before we unfortunately knew about the cancellation of the season now.
Yeah, I think especially after that devastating loss that we had in the playoffs, everything just shut down, and you could finally take time for yourself to develop as players and as people. So I can speak for myself. For me personally, I was working quite a bit throughout spring and summer, and I think that really helped me develop physically and mentally. I think I matured a lot, and my work ethic went up a lot, and I think it really helped me from the beginning of the season that we had. So I think that was a huge part of it.
Yeah, and I'd say it definitely helped you. I mean, as mentioned before in this interview, you were on pace to having a career year this year. And just, I guess, in terms of all games, I mean, you had 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points this season, and you were, I believe, leading the team, or either tied on the team for the lead in points this season when the league got shut down. Just for you, you put up more goals. You put up more goals than assists, 4 goals, 2 assists this season, and you've really picked up the slack of a player like Matty DeRosier, who struggled and didn't find the net all season when you guys were playing. Just what's it been like for you, just like you've said, just finding you've always been the player that has, stepped into the role where the coaches need you to play. And just for you to become more of that goal scorer this year, stepping up for a player like Matty DeRosier, who's put up the assists but not the goals, just how have you felt you've been able to become a more improved goal scorer this season?
Yeah, of course. I think I've always been, not to give myself compliments, but I think I've always been pretty good with the puck. Whether that's shooting, stick handling, passing, any sort of play with the puck. I think I'm pretty poised on the ice. I'm pretty good vision. So I think I finally got to use that this year. I think I had a little bit more confidence going into this year, being, I guess, the oldest player on the team. So I knew my role, and I knew that I had to score or pass the puck. I had to do something to help the team win and give us a better chance with the opponent. So I really tried to do that this year. And it's unfortunate that our season was cut short. But I think for what it was, I think everyone on the team really did their best, and I think we were on pace to have a fairly okay year.
Was the shot something you emphasized in your off-season training coming in?
Not really. Like I said before, I think I've always had a pretty good shot. I just never really got to the right place to use it. This past year, it was more focused on pure muscular endurance, just overall cardio, and I think that really helped me get to those open spots to maybe get those shots or make a play. And I think that was really important for me to do during the off season.
For you, Geneva, you've gone 1-4 this season and .876 save percentage, 3.69 goals against average. Obviously not getting that, that instant success you wanted, but you were planning to build off that. And unfortunately, due to COVID, you weren't able to build off of that. But just you guys, only won one game in the regular season this year. And for you, I mean, putting up those numbers, it's not numbers that I guess we're used to seeing from you usually. But just why do you think that you didn't get off to the greatest start this season and that out there?
For sure. So our first game against the Avros, we lost, I believe it was 8-0. So that definitely affected my numbers. But yeah, we were just outshot, and it was just not a good game for us. I think that from there we were building off of it, and we just needed some more time to get where we wanted to be before we unfortunately got cut short.
Definitely the 7 goals against in the Avros. That was the first game of the season. You guys lost 7-0, and I'm recalling the games that you guys played. You guys got slowly better and better after that, compared to that first game. But getting to the first, coming out of the first game of the season against the Avros, where you guys got blown out 7-0. And I think definitely having no preseason games prior to that was definitely huge in that. But you guys slowly built up to the last game against the Avros that you played in your season, where you guys only lost 2-0. Just in terms of where you guys got to at that point in the season in October, I know that Maddie's spoken about it on the show, but I want to get your guys' perspective on things. At that point in the season, after going up against the first place in the team and losing 2-0 to them in the final game that you guys played, just what do you feel was the things that the team was really, really striving at that point in the season?
I think that we had stronger connections at that point. We played a couple games together. We knew how things worked and who was good where, and so I think that it just took a bit, and it took that game. It took the big loss for us to realize that we needed to get a kick start, and we started to click things together.
Yeah, I think, not to really put us down, but I think we had a lot weaker team than I think we're used to, especially if you think about the past 2 years besides this one. The Eastman teams were pretty strong overall. So this was a little bit of an adjustment, I think, for all of us. And I think after that first loss to the Avros, we kind of realized like, hey, we're not the best, but we can probably work on it. And I think our work ethic definitely improved off the ice and on the ice. And then the last game against the Avros, it was a really close game. And I think that really showed that we were really working hard towards a common goal. I think it was really, really good for us.
Yeah, and of course, you guys lost key players up front. You guys lost key players on the roster, like most notably Kylie Lasuk, who won league MVP last year, and a player like Liza Vigier. And it seems like you said, Alex, it was going to be more focus on that work ethic, more aligned on scoring by committee and hard work for you guys to get the job done, and hopefully, pushing for a championship. But just all that being said, even though you didn't have a chance to really see what this team was made of this season, just in terms of you guys, how hard you've been working during the break, just if the season hypothetically did somehow come back, and it's not going to since the regular season playoffs are canceled, but how did you guys feel like if you guys built up to the point that you guys wanted to get at, that you guys could fare against teams like the Avros, like the Chiefs, like the Ice, just the top teams in the league come playoff time, and maybe surprising them and upsetting them and going on a championship run? Just how much of a possibility do you think that was this season with the group of girls that you had?
I honestly think that even if it wasn't like we had skill this year, we did. It was a lot of new girls, and we had stuff to work towards for sure. But I think that throughout the long break, we were really focusing on off ice really hard. Bailey had been we've been doing Zoom workouts, and we'd been focusing on that a lot. And I think that would have improved our game. And I think if we got back into it, we could have made something of it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Final question before I let you girls go here, because it's pretty late here. It's about 10:38 on this Wednesday night. I still got to get this episode edited and up and running for when everyone is seeing it right now. But you guys have spent a good majority of your life playing in not only the U15 Eastman Selects program, where you guys spent 2 years there in your bantam years, but for you, Geneva, spending 2 of the 3 years in your U18 career playing for this U18 team, and for you, Alex, spending the last 5 years with the U15 Eastman team, and the last 3 years playing with the U18 team. So 2 years with the U15, 3 years with the U18 team. Just how thankful are you guys for just everything that the Eastman Selects programs have given you guys the opportunities during these past years?
Yeah, so thankful from everything that even all the parents put in, to the friendships, to the development, just in general, everything that these last years have done for me and for, I think, our team as a whole. Like, just in general, everyone that goes through the program, it's just a really good program. And the coaches have always been good to me and my teammates, and it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable experience. So I think I'll always be grateful for the times that I've had and that we've had. I think it's been a great past 5 years for me, and these past 3 years especially. I thought it was the coolest thing. Not too many people get the opportunity to travel across the province playing high-end competitive hockey. So it's a really, really cool experience to be a part of, and I'm super, super grateful for it. And I hope that players continue to play hockey at this level. Hope that we can hopefully maybe inspire some girls. Like I looked up to girls when I was younger, so hopefully we can just help girls continue to play hockey. And I'm just really thankful for the opportunities that we've had.
Well, I'm not going to say much after this before we go to break, but Geneva Penner, number 33, senior goaltender of the Eastman Selects, and number 9, Alexandrea Bednar, senior forward for the Eastman Selects, joining me on this edition of MFHL season coverage. Stick with me. I'll be back in just a moment with some final words here on this edition of MFHL season coverage on Coffee with Graeme here on ASTV Productions.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8, Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme's MFHL season coverage here on ASTV Productions. That's going to do it for today's edition of MFHL season coverage. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing this episode. Special thanks to Alexandrea Bednar and Geneva for joining me on today's episode and making this thing possible. Special thanks to you, the viewer, for tuning in today, and also special thanks to our sponsors in Pure Renata, Fabricland Winkler, and Evolve Green for sponsoring today's episode. I'll be back on the network on Monday for another edition of the Coffee with Graeme newscast. I'll be back on Tuesday for a full edition of Coffee with Graeme. Our only guest on the show right now is Caitlin Cadrian, number 1 of the Saskatoon Stars in the Saskatchewan Female U18 AAA Hockey League. There might be more guests joining me on that Tuesday edition of the show, but stay tuned on our social medias, on Twitter at Amateur Sports TV, on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, as well as Instagram on ASTV Productions, to find out who some potential guests could be other than Caitlin joining that Tuesday episode. And if you're a fan of prospects and just a fan of hockey here in North America, be sure to tune in tomorrow night on ASTV Productions for another edition of the Prospect Show, where I sit down with Saskatoon Blazers rookie forward Rowan Woodward. But until next time, folks, I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth, signing off now. Have a good one, stay safe out there, and I'll see you later.